So we all know that sometimes we just flunk. Just like the other day, we could get an F on our last unit test or an F on the final of all things that can destroy our grade and our future potentially to ruin our economic situation or to advance it. These are always determined by grades, and ultimately, in some factors, assessment or a final exam or a test. But are these exams a proper form of assessment? I think ultimately they are, although there are circumstances in which I believe that students should be able to retake exams. Maybe they failed it, but I ultimately think that exams are a finish line, almost like a testimony that you have completed the material in a curriculum. And a curriculum, it's almost again imagine like this a race, the finish line being the exam, test, whatever you want to call it. And the beginning is when you don't know anything. And then when the gun goes off and you have to run and put in effort, just like homework, and learn about, the proper curricular material and goals in order to, reach the finish line. And we're gonna have these quizzes in between, like mountains in a race, and you're just struggling all wrong, and you're going up the mountain. You're like, oh, it's so hard, but then you make it up. I mean, those are exactly like quizzes. And then you go back down with homework, and then you have another one, and then ultimately at the finish line. Now, ultimately, and sometimes these assessments can have huge, huge mountains, and not everyone will make it. And that kind of gets to this point, are that our exams again proper form of assessment? I think yes, because it shows that those who reach the top understand all the bottom material or all the life lesson learned while running, knowing that you have to put in practice, work, and effort. Now, I do believe that people should be able, particularly students, should be able to retake exams and show their proficiency after a later date. And I think they should ultimately, achieve above a 70 instead of the standard in which, in some cases, teachers let you to retake an exam. You can only make a 70. I think that's not really showing the real integrity of the exam. In a sense that, again, when you reach the finish line, you're showing that you have done all the effort. Now, it could be in some cases where maybe some other people, got a, 86 and they just did, really well and they did it the first time, and then another person gets a 60 and then they retry and we say they get a 98. I know in those circumstances in which that happens, but again, we could also offer the same opportunity to have everyone retake the exam if they really wanted to, because that allows students to actually learn the material and not be, hindered and, actually, want to just give up, because that failure ultimately dictates your future and in some cases your financial circumstances. But ultimately, exams are a proper form of assessment because it does assess your effort, the amount of knowledge that you have attained, and the confidence and the consistency of you willing to go ahead and fill out the work and learn the material. Thank you.